Sticking to the theme of colonization, it brings us to the Pilgrims, followed by the Puritans.
They arrived and pretty much took over. Political rhetoric. For my people. Let's get to it. In 1620, the Pilgrims, they arrived to Plymouth. They arrived on the Mayflower. And the Pilgrims were pretty much kind of poor, uneducated, separatists. You know, they were radicals. They escaped from England for religious freedom under King James. King James is a Bible translation, right? That most people use.
Scholars say he got about 50 men to put together all of the biblical references that were in existence. William Shakespeare was one of those men. They weren't allowed to sign on their names, so they found creative ways to put their signature on the work. Yes, on the Bible. If you look at Psalms 46, 3 and 9, the 46th word is shake, and the 46th word from the end is spear.
Lord, I'm having a heart attack! Damn, this is some scary shit!
Why would they want to escape from the person who translated the Bible? People wanted their own life. They wanted to have freedom and worship the way they wanted to worship. You know, their relationship with God was their relationship with God. They didn't want a dictator or a king trying to tell them how to have faith and how to live a life of righteousness. And shit, I would have bounced too. Because my relationship with me and God is between me and God. Right? That part. On November 11th, 1620, they created the Mayflower Compact, which was the first governing document in the New World. However, the colonists will still remain loyal to King James. They agreed to live within the Christian faith, even though they escaped for religious freedom. And the colonists, they decided to create one society and work together, despite the natives who were already there.
Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here.
Right ahead! On the starboard! Jesus Christ!
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us.
Based on most TV shows, movies, and books, most people would think that the Pilgrims coming over on the Mayflower was this glorious landing, when in fact, most of them died, and most of them couldn't handle the harsh winter. That brings me to my boy Squanto, who doesn't get enough credit in the history books in my opinion.
You're a long way from home, and winter is coming.
He was able to communicate with the Pilgrims because he spoke fluent English, unlike most of his fellow Native Americans at the time.
Winter is
so
coming.
He became kind of like a liaison.
It's coming!
But winter is coming. We know what's coming with it.
And winter is coming!
To be honest, they're the ones that feed the Pilgrims, and it wasn't turkey, it was venison, fowl, and ill meat. Even though settlers from the Mayflower admitted to giving Native Americans smallpox to wipe them out.
Oh no! I'm alone and lost in the mall! I haven't been this scared since the Silence of the Lamb! Hey, let's move in together. Say something!
They have said do not trust the Pilgrims. And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you.
Gave them the big,
The war is over.
now. You know,
Winter has come.
Like, bye-bye. Then around 1629 to 1630, here come the Puritans.
After hearing about the New World in England, religious zealots were so curious, and they thought because there were no fences, they decided they can seize the land. And so they did.
They were different than the Pilgrims. They were more uppity. They were well-educated, rich, and they believed in corporate righteousness.
When we talk about a low-calorie beer, we immediately become feminine.
Corporate righteousness. That's all I'm gonna say. Their upper class ass believed that the Church of England was the only church. The one true church.
Don't boo. Vote.
They ultimately used government to enforce Christianity, to implement the laws of the New World.
And actually, the first Thanksgiving was declared in 1637 when Governor Winthrop decided to give thanks to his people for the safe return after they participated in the massacre of the Pagat tribe during their annual Green Corn Festival. Women and children over 14 were then sold into slavery. 500 Indian slaves were headed to England.
And they actually founded Harvard, darling. Yes, Harvard was the first college founded by the Puritans. Yes.
Oh, and by the way, I ain't learned none of this shit in school. And if I did, don't remember.